Okay. So I posed the question a couple pods ago, and we've had these pods drop, and I'm very impressed with them. So we need people to subscribe.
I had somebody call me on the other day actually saying, I don't know what he saw, but he was like, I saw this clip with you and Dana. It was really well done. So,
I've had a few myself, and so I
was like, oh, that's a random person that saw it. So
right. I'm pretty pleased about that. And so I'm hoping for more of that because we give a crap.
Yeah.
And I think we got some good stuff to say. Okay. So I said once upon a time we flip-flopped Trump and Obama, their presidency. So 08 to 15, 16, legitimately 16. Okay, so 08 to 16, we have a Trump presidency. And I don't think that there's a very large, in fact, I think that he's probably memorialized in some sort of big statue that would be orange of some nature, probably copper, right? That seems to fit, yeah. Because the economy was disastrous in 08. He seems to have a knack for doing good for that kind of thing. There's the whole foreign world out there that we were still involved in, and we always have been involved in. That would have likely calmed down, much like it did during his time. So we got to see him for 4 years. So we just extrapolate that out. I don't think that there's any way he's not a two-term president during the Obama thing. The reality is the media wasn't as partisan as they are now. The media is incredibly partisan. Now, I think the right side of things, as far as the Republicans go, they kind of go by the right side of things, I guess, whatever we want to call that, the middle right. They have a station, and they have their own station and everything. They're like a club, and it's Fox, and then the left has a whole lot. Okay, so the left has got all of Hollywood. They've got CNN, MSNBC. They've got The View, which I don't know how many brains. Could you re-show that thing that you were showing me and your son? That reminded me of The View. It was fantastic. Let's.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey.
It's CNN, MSNBC, Fox News.
Altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think of myself every day. When my disregard for third-grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
Pretending yourself to reality, the only no-brainer.
So that's basically what we talk about every week.
Yeah.
We talk about let's start.
We're not as crass about it, but yeah, I mean, let's start getting into the actual minutia of things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we have Bush, and he got some pushback, and the media wasn't friendly to Junior
No,
W.
He had lots of memes too before memes were memes,
Sure.
right? Just mostly about this, walking into doors and stuff
Right,
like that.
because and he was good at that. I mean, he was kind of vaudevillian that way. I mean, I kind of felt like he was.
I loved it just because he kind of owned it. Like
Right.
That was who he was.
He just laughed it
Country
off.
bumpkin type
Right.
thing. Yeah. Anyway.
He just laughed it off. Bush was a lot smarter than given credit for.
Absolutely.
Very bright man. That said, I enjoyed Bush in a lot of ways too. But there was a lot of things I disliked about Bush as well. So I think we could probably say that about most of our presidents historically. What I liked about Bush was his candor. So he had a hot mic. Mics were becoming a bigger thing, and he's got a heckler in the front. And the heckler was just giving him the business about whatever policy, probably saying that his strike that he threw in Yankee Stadium was a few inches off the plate. It really wasn't. It was dead down. It was dead nuts down the middle. That was a sweet pitch. That was a cool moment.
Some baseball background.
That was a cool moment in our history. After the 9/11 thing and all that, that was a cool moment in that. Anyway, let's carry on. Turns over to his aide or whomever was standing next to him. He's like, "Man, that guy ate an extra helping asshole this morning." Trumpy, type of a comment. It was hot mic'd. He didn't do it intentional, and the difference would be Trump would make sure there was a mic in front of him before he said something that cool.
The only difference with Trump, though, is that, and not politics aside, it's just personality. Bush does it as a defense mechanism, right? Yeah. Because he's being attacked.
Yeah.
Trump goes on the attack. Like, did you hear the Bill Barr the Bill Barr one that he did the other day? The tweet.
He's back to tweeting.
Yeah. So he tweeted about.
Or
Bill
did he
Barr.
truth it?
No, it was a tweet, and it was Bill Barr had endorsed Trump, which was kind of surprising given the history between the two of them. Yeah. And Trump tweets out something about, hey, glad to hear the endorsement from Bill Barr. This coming from a man that I had called lazy, lethargic, gutless, heartless, stupid, something like that. He goes through a whole bunch of adjectives. And he's like, so glad that he turned the page and is endorsing me. And because of that, I'm going to take away the word lethargic from my prior statement. Trump 2024. So
look,
that was an attack of somebody who had just endorsed him. So not necessarily a defensive attack.
But I don't give a crap.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so at the end of the day, I understand.
Thought it was funny, totally uncalled for, but funny.
Yeah. So Trump is funny, but Trump is exactly what he appears to be.
No, yeah, no, unapologetic. For
and
sure.
So you've got a Bush, and then it transitions into a Trump. We don't have a bought off and paid for CNN. We don't have a View that needs that meme that you just showed us. If they only had a brain. If they only had a brain, I can't believe anybody watches this. Going on, he inherits this very, very rapid growth socialistic policies that are growing and growing, and an exponential growth of federal government. And now all of a sudden it's not money like we talked about before, it's influence and money. We have the Mark Cubans of the world we talked about last week, kind of obeying rules and like traffic signs and like minding their P's and Q's. And I'm wondering who has what on him. Is it Puffy? Does the Puffy have something on the Cuban? Is it Diddy? What is it? What do we call that guy? I mean, or is this what's that guy's name? The Weinstein? No.
Harvey Weinstein?
No, not that guy. He's
the island dude?
Yeah, the island fella. The Epstein. It was a Steen. I was close. Epstein. And it's like, what do these guys exist for? You know what I mean? Like, how exactly do they keep all Hollywood elite people on this particular team, no matter how you slice? And there's a few that descend, and somehow there's some sort of scandal with these few here and there. But most of the time, they're all aligned with Barbra Streisand, and they all, fly and they all fly like geese, and they take turns. And Robert De Niro got to make an ass of himself recently, and pretty much.
It is interesting how if you lean on the right side, Republican in Hollywood, you almost have to. You're a lot more careful than the other side, and you almost have to. It's almost like an apology type of situation, which it shouldn't be that way. Well,
lately I've seen, and I agree with what you're saying, but lately what we've seen is the FU factor. So, which means follow up, or forever undivided, or anyway, you have a screw you factor, which is, come get me. I'm bigger than you now. I have that influence we talked about last week. So somebody that I find to have that in Hollywood is kind of a Clint Eastwood type. Clint Eastwood, what are they going to do with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And De Niro doesn't fall into Clint Eastwood's category. How is this?
Yeah, he's in the exact opposite, right?
Right. De Niro's, they're contemporaries for the most part. I mean, they're both older gentlemen, much older gentlemen. And they've both been in the business for a long time. Why does Clint Eastwood just enjoy himself this, I'm going to say what I want? Why does Morgan Freeman have that same license to say what he wants? Why do some of these folks have that license, and then your Tom Cruises of the world just kind of ride that middle road, right? So that influence and money. And some of them haven't reached that influence, like one scandal, and
Yeah.
You know, they're Oprah in hiding. Where is she? I think she's in a cave in Afghanistan. I really do. Oprah Winfrey is in a cave in Afghanistan. Whomever we left behind in Afghanistan, go find her.
I mean, she's
Have you
not
seen
nearly as influential as she was before. Doesn't she still have a network, though? or
Yeah,
something?
oh yeah, she's, you know, and everybody keeps thinking, let's just have Oprah run for president now that Biden's not.
Yeah. I didn't
And I'm
hear that
thinking to
name, but
myself, that'd
okay.
be fantastic. Throw out your best one. Right now, nobody's going to beat Trump.
It's late in the game for sure.
Right now, nobody's going to. What's happened the last few weeks or the last few days even
Has hurt.
is solidified that election to where you remember Reagan gets shot as well. 49 of 50 states. And it's what most people don't remember, Westover. Check this out. He was running against probably the first prototype Obama.
Yeah, very well spoken.
Mondale was fantastic. I mean, he was butter smooth. He was like listening to Dean Martin sing. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, we're not going to get that from Kamala.
Probably not. It's probably the exact opposite. It's like nails on a chalkboard. You know?
Yeah,
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
she's going to be able to deliver a better message than her.
Agree.
Her current president, but
So it's time that we get people like that meme that used. I had this awesome direction we were going to go, but your meme changed it.
okay.
Because I feel like, is that a meme? Is that what that's called?
It was I don't know, a reel of something.
A reel.
Yeah,
REEL.
yeah, something like that.
All right. Yeah. Row. It was real good. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, shorts, reels, meme. It falls. We have to lean.
I think memes are usually like not videos. They're usually like a little caption. But yeah, this is a reel.
So this opens this up, Westover. Here we go. We've got much younger people in the crowd today. We have a crowd. Everybody clap. Much younger people, okay?
much younger looking people.
That's probably fair. You don't have to rub it in, man. Jeez. He's coming at me today. It's
No,
rough.
I was giving your wife a compliment, bro.
It's all good. I'll take it because it'll probably help me out later. So let's get people thinking again, talking to neighbors, relating to. Get the jerseys off. We've talked about this. Let's strip down the jerseys. I think a lot has been done with that assassination attempt. A lot has been done because it kind of brought down the temperature a little bit. And it kind of made people look at him a little bit different. He's responded very different until
For a minute, yeah,
until
he's
the
starting to
Bill
heat
Barr.
up again. But I actually really enjoyed watching him go through the RNC for the most part, and the smirk and the like little
Gone.
his facial expressions that drive me nuts.
Yeah, they were gone.
Whether I like Trump or not, just he sat there very stoically, smiled kind of humbly.
Yeah.
He actually used the word humility to describe himself, which is in and of itself an oxymoron. But when you're calling yourself humble,
Well,
but
the
I humbly,
most
yeah.
humble
So
that
that he's
he-
ever been,
right,
that he has
that-
capability
right,
of doing, probably. So anyway,
Right. He was humble in his way.
in whatever way that is.
You know, it's hard.
But
to be
yeah, it
humble.
was different. It was at least for a few days. It was different.
It's hard to be humble, man. I mean, you're perfect in every way. It's just is what it is. So let's yeehaw. That said, it's interesting that I do feel like that momentum is like real.
Hopefully, it's settled us down just a tiny bit.
I feel like it kind of has.
Most, at least on the Republican side, and you know, now that there's an actual nominee for the Democratic side, it's heating up a little bit, and it'll get nasty, I'm sure, as it goes along. But there was there was at least talk of going, okay, now we've had an assassination attempt. Let's knock it off a little bit.
So CNN,
chill it
MSNBC, The View, the Hollywood elites, the folks that are, he's Hitler, he's a dictator, he's going to be the end of democracy, he's going to be this, he's going to be that, creates a fear factor.
Yeah.
Okay? And those folks that need to see their doctor about utilizing their brain because they're willing to take that risk of the side effects. The worst one seemed to be diarrhea, but they're willing to take the
Homeschooling
risk.
was the worst one for me. Sorry for those that.
My general view on the homeschool
No, wait, that's sorry. I didn't mean to tangent you. That's a
general
pet
view
peeve of mine. But
is bless them that do it.
yeah, if they can
and
handle
bless them
it,
to do it right. I am too lazy to, and I want socializing going on.
Yeah, that's my bigger thing.
And so I see.
It just depends on
argument.
the motivation. If there's a true reason for it, then fine, I support you. If it's just the fear mongering part of it, that schools are evil, that's where I kind of sometimes.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then.
I keep bringing you on tangents. Then sorry.
Right. Move to California. What are you gonna do?
Never.
Right, but let's just pretend that you had to. Now, what you doing with your kids?
Whether homeschool. Do they not? Does California know charter schools or anything like that?
10 seconds ago, it's mandatory. It's now statute. This has been within the last week or two.
Okay.
Newsom, the brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, has he
No,
done?
that's not my
Newsom, the
favorite
brilliant,
politician. Yeah.
passed a bill wherein the schools cannot tell the parents about the sexuality of the kids. Cannot, whether they're transitioning, whether there's sex involved, whether they're pregnant.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of social issues on this school
without consent of the child.
Yeah, an 8-year-old that knows what they're doing. Yeah, whole different topic there.
To
Yeah,
me,
no,
did
maybe
you not see what happened in Virginia?
maybe that's maybe homeschooling. Maybe I shouldn't automatically.
So
say
let's bring it
something.
up. Let's go back to Virginia. Virginia's about as blue historically as blue gets.
Mm-hmm.
And this got real hot real fast, this exact topic. And they voted in Youngkin. And it probably one of the most center-right governors you're going to find. And his lieutenant governor's awesome too. I mean, and man, they came in and just said, no, boom, 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 put the rights of the children right back to the parents, and so on and so forth. And so I don't understand how a stronghold and then Newsom that's supposed to be smart.
Yeah.
I don't see any smart in him at all, but
And Newsom's,
he has nice
social
hair,
issues
he's
aside,
handsome, but
man.
so few of us.
Talk about big government. That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's unfortunate. That's my big. Politically speaking, whether social issues or not, different people may lean different ways as far as the social issues go. But politically, I lean towards small government just because I want them out of my business type of situation, which is usually a conservative mentality.
Not anymore.
Well, maybe not. He's just he wants to be involved in everything.
Right.
Like, chill, bro.
Agree.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
I mean, I usually not a real hot take guy, but yeah, that's not and I've got friends in California that are forced to be there, unfortunately, and yeah, they struggle. And Newsom's their biggest topic of conversation,
right?
Because it feels like he's way too involved in their daily.
Well, what he just did,
lives.
Because what's got him there isn't the state of California. What has him there is the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And San Francisco. That's what has him there. That's it. Those are his constituents. He just lost them with that legislation. That's what changed Virginia. That's what flipped them.
Then we'll see.
And so to me, that's so interesting, especially in this climate. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and it seems like an interesting move right now.
Right now, right? It feels weird to me.
No need to really take on that issue.
Right. There really is no need to take on that issue. And so it's weird. It's strange. It's kind of like, wait.
But
that's a very large state.
Yeah. And it's interesting in general, just the climate that we're in. Like, my sister calls me yesterday, and I thought it was the strangest question. She goes, hey, is Trump going to deport Democrats? And I was like, and she was serious, but not serious at the same time. And she's not as politically involved. And I'm like, what is going on? But she's like, we're at a family dinner a couple nights ago, and they've got political leanings of all sides in this family. It's not my family; it's her in-law family. and there was a comment made from somebody unnamed.
Will they
I
start
know who it is.
subscribing?
I don't know.
We need more.
And the comment was, and here's where the connection came. Trump said he would deport terrorists. That was his latest thing. Democrats have been called terrorists by Trump, so therefore Trump will deport Democrats. Right? That was the line. And I go, was she serious? Sorry, I even said it was a she. Was she serious about this comment? And my sister says, yeah, like dead serious. In fact, she was saying that we were conspiring if we voted for Trump to make this connection to make her family be in jeopardy. And I'm like, okay, let's start on the immigration side, which I'm good at. You can't deport a U.S. citizen no matter if you're a terrorist or not.
Right. You can imprison them.
Yeah, you can absolutely imprison them. If they somehow fraudulently obtain their citizenship, maybe you can take it away. But in general, you're born here in the United States. You can be the worst person in the world. You're not being deported.
Cheech and Chong aren't even up for deportation.
So that's number one. Number two, I don't even know if Trump said that Democrats were terrorists. I wouldn't put it past him. That could be.
Wouldn't either. You'd
comment
have
he
to
would
follow around with a pretty long
But-
notebook.
But are we really that dense to make that connection and go, oh, that's a serious threat?
Back
I
to
don't
your
know.
reel /
Yeah.
meme /
Or do we not
thing.
have a brain anymore? Yeah, I don't know.
I am convinced.
So the fact that I had to answer this question in general, I kind of laughed about, and I was like, and then she asked me about, well, what's this whole, threat upon democracy type of situation, and why is everybody saying that? And I said, well, look, that's been extended way farther than it actually. Look, there might be a legitimate argument we've talked about the Capitol, right?
Right.
We talked about how sacred kind of elections are, and how that probably is not my favorite thing that Trump did, in my opinion. That I know that there are several of his supporters that are still going to question the elections, whatever. To me, that's over with. He's running again. We're messing with kind of the sacred part of our democracy. If they wanted to use that and they were centralizing that argument, but unfortunately it's been extended to everything he does as a threat on democracy, and that's where I have a total problem.
Right.
And that's the whole campaign right now is.
Well, my
threat upon
problem
democracy.
is, and I think that in our day and age, we haven't had this scenario. So I do believe we do need to talk about election integrity.
Sure.
I don't think that we necessarily need to make it a bad topic, though.
Yeah, and
Really, that's where I land on this, because you Google Trump right now, and you're going to find there was an attempted. I know that a handful of you guys are going to be very surprised to know, but there was an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. Okay, happened over there, and what was that in Pennsylvania, and it was about a week and some change ago. He was struck in the ear. Okay, it's not top news on Google.
No, it's not only that. You have to put. Look,
You,
show Kaden here.
yeah, we're gonna show Caden, so we have some,
Trump.
and you're gonna have a microphone because we can't ever hear him when he talks.
And I put the word A in, and it says apprentice or age. It does not say.
okay, so she's Googling it, and
Put as.
she started doing what Google automatically generates, and
Right.
and it's not coming
Right.
up, even with starting the
So
letter
all we
A.
need, yeah,
And
right?
All the way up to assassin.
You get ass first, and there's a lot of stuff for Donald Trump ass.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
the-
A,
But then it goes to assassination.
and
Okay,
It just disappears. So there's nothing.
interesting.
Okay, so the thing about that is, Trump, Google.
Okay, give him a microphone.
All right, is that thing recording? This thing, can you hear me?
If not, I'll repeat it.
Hello. Okay, so basically, if you search up anything that's like explicit in any way on the Google search bar, it won't really like give you an option for it. Like you just kind of have to press enter and it'll give you everything.
Yeah.
But when you look up stuff like JFK assassination or something,
It'll
like
do the
that,
same
it
thing.
won't, like, I don't think it will, at least. Like
Anything that's going to show graphic images or something.
assassination game. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, this
so-
is
so
this is
his-
getting this is
his algorithm-
shows graphic images like that. Like anything like super graphic won't immediately pull up on the search like thing.
It comes up like assassination memorial,
So,
assassination
there's-
date,
so
They have
maybe maybe
videos,
Caden
they-
was proved wrong a little
Right.
bit there. So
Well, my point is, and I appreciate the try. You know what I mean? And my point is this: we live in this world now,
yeah,
and we have people that need to go to their doctor to get a subscription or prescription, better put, sorry, their doc to get a prescription to use their brain. We have people that think that they're going to be deported because they're Democrat. We have people that think that he's going to deport the Democrats and keep the Latinos. We just had a fellow that was in the office here that we both talked to that thinks the minute Trump's elected, he's gone. Like there's going to be this mass deportation, like we have the manpower and money for that.
Yeah.
And lately he's been talking about the door on the border, which is interesting to me. That's all right. That I'm interested. I'm listening. Let's see where that goes. I've never seen the Republican Party so united, and I've never seen the Democrats so discombobulated as of recent. This is like right now. Like the last couple of weeks have really been interesting. It's like our children. We're podding over here.
I doubt they'll be. Yeah, I'll doubt. It's usually not picking up over there, but go ahead.
I mean, usually they're so quiet and reserved and kind and helpful. Just having fun with them. So my point is this is interesting last few weeks. I mean, we're living history. We have been for a long period of time.
Oh yeah, these kids. I mean, speaking of Caden, who's 18 years old, the amount. And everybody, I guess, could say that if we look back at our lives, the amount of change that goes on. But I feel like the last 20 years, holy smokes.
That's why I think
that's
why I believe election integrity.
Sure.
It should be a conversation.
No,
I
conversation.
think it needs to be brought up. I got hosed. Okay, whether he did or didn't, it happened.
Yeah, that's where I'm at this point. Is that let's focus. I mean, you're running again, so let's focus on, instead of continuously saying I shouldn't have lost in the first place. I won the election before.
And especially with the smirk, I just don't want to look. Just stick with your points, stick with your leadership, and go.
All it does is fearmonger again, right? The left fearmongers with a lot of this stuff, like the terrorists, Democrats being terrorists and being deported is a fearmongering thing. Similar things, we've got to don't be hypocritical. We're fearmongering a little bit with every election now from this point on is going to be fraudulent.
I really feel like it needs to be. There needs to be a topic of conversation. Yeah. It needs to be bipartisan. Everybody should wish to have good elections and fast ones.
And just like every president should want to deport terrorists. I'm an immigration attorney, and if you're a terrorist, sorry, I have zero desire to represent you. Or
that would be pretty high on the list.
I don't know why that's even a topic of conversation to even.
I'm going to deport rapists, terrorists, and murderers.
Yeah, I think both parties should probably support.
Probably fine. It sounds fairly reasonable. Not a novel idea. Yeah. It's just probably something we ought to be doing. But to do that, okay, we've talked about that a lot. So to do that, we got to kind of narrow down the pool there, don't we? But yeah, I believe that, yes, there was something janky with the way that our populace gets their information nowadays. I believe that Hollywood and the news stations are predominantly aiming towards those that are needing a prescription from the doctor to use their brain.
Yeah, that's so weird. I mean, the fact that my sister even poses that question is...
Well, she has a brain now.
No, and she was, awesome. and she was going, and she was asking me,
in earnest.
Not that she didn't already know the answer, but she was just like, she's like, I almost wanted to give him your card and be like, talk to an immigration attorney. That's not going to happen. But the fact that was even a real question, I'm like,
that's more
where do we
money
get
for
to
you.
that point where I don't think that this particular person, I don't know her well, but I don't think she's not special needs. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean that like she doesn't have any mental incapacities other than maybe the prescription part of issue of she's listening to too much social media that makes you
loopy.
Not be able to use your brain. I don't know.
I actually think that there might be a condition called you don't have eyes wide open.
Yeah.
So I loved when you said that you're at the gym and you're pumping your iron and you're doing your thing and you got CNN here and you got Fox there and you're like.
Somebody made a comment on that short, fantastic. And it was like, dude goes to the gym at his lunch break. That's the question we should be asking. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well,
That's the
our
only time I
subscriber.
got.
He's one of our 22 subscribers.
So I just thought that was a funny comment. I
we
was like,
want
that's what you
dude-
got out of that
Yeah,
conversation.
we
was that I
want
go
dude to know that you do lunchtime, I do breakfast time, and it's an important thing to do. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I knew that. I thought it was funny.
Dude goes to. That is pretty funny. It was awesome. I love that. I love that. Yeah, but so Fox, CNN, he might have missed the point, apparently.
He missed the point.
He might have missed the
I was
point.
at the gym at lunch, Fox CNN on the treadmill, different things, same topic, right? Totally
And
different.
so it's just so interesting to me that that is where we're at, but that's at least a Fox CNN comparative. CNN, CMS, and
MSNBC.
That one.
Yeah,
And then you got ABC.
CNBC, yeah.
And then you got PBS.
right.
And then you've got national, the
NPR.
APR. And you've got,
We're NPR. What is APR?
whatever. I got you here to make it clean it up. And you're doing great.
No, where are we going?
So
with this?
far, he's doing
It's
great.
Making up television.
We've
shows.
got the New York Times. We've got the
Washington Post.
Right. We've got Posts. We've got almost everything in media. Almost everything is left. Almost. And now we've got social media.
Mm-hmm.
And almost everything there is the same. So we've got an indoctrination moment in time to where we can't get information that unless we put a lot of effort into it if we want the full scope.
Yeah.
And the more you watch,
Is that on?
the more you watch something, the more the algorithm brings you.
Yeah. No. I can go ahead.
The more you watch something, and us women on autopilot while we're momming and doing whatever, which we start to like watch things on autopilot, and it just brings us more and more and more and more, and goes down that rabbit hole. And every individual is getting a different dose of
Yeah.
that. And
No,
just
it is
the
crazy.
real
In
women,
case your family member is not alone out there, we've been trying to kick out Barbara Streisand for 50 years, and we've been unsuccessful.
On the deportation side.
Yeah, we've been trying to deport
Democrats.
Streisand forever.
Are you-
Oh, sweet. I like it when Caden has something.
All right, so there's a documentary on Netflix that explains the whole social media thing, where basically their algorithm that they have, they want you to spend as much time on their app as possible. They want as much of your attention as they can get, because that means they can get more ad revenue and whatever. Basically, a common tactic they do is they show you your people you don't agree with, but extreme people you don't agree with. If you're right leaning, they'll show you extreme left leaning people saying stupid stuff. Even though that's not the majority of what the left is,
Right.
they're showing you the most extremes, so you get angry and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch all of this because I'm mad and it's keeping your attention. Yeah, you're emotional. And if you're on the left, you're showing really far right dudes saying crazy stuff, and it's
Like
oh
Trump
my
stuff.
gosh, this
Yeah.
is you need to go have a seat at that panel.
No, I'm digging
and
this. Keep him going. Keep him going. I like this.
So their entire thing's just trying to keep your attention by any means necessary.
For money.
Yeah, for money. And it's they really don't care what harm they're doing as long as they're making as much money as possible from it. They don't align with anything.
They could care less right or left.
Yeah, they could care less, whatever's making them the most money.
Huh.
So isn't that the social experiment? Is that what that's called? The documentary? So there's one called The Social Experiment that's about social media that's kind of interesting about how they use their algorithms.
Social dilemma.
Oh, Social Dilemma.
Social dilemma.
Sorry, maybe
This
it's
kid's
Social
sharp.
Dilemma.
This is
Look, you know what I like about this? We got 18-year-old and a little bit above 18 in the commentary here, and I love that. This is what he's thinking about. This is what he's watching. This is what he's like. I find that interesting. I find that interesting.
No, he's a very analytical kid.
Everything thrown at him on the screen, he's not just buying it.
I hope he doesn't buy it, and he's hopefully raised by a good dad that has taught him that. But there's hard stuff. I mean, that's a hard thing when, especially this generation, when they're getting all their. So Mike, I turn on the news, like 12 News or whatever, as we're here in Arizona, and it's like the kids have never seen that before. We grew up with the news.
We had 3 channels.
We didn't have a lot of channels. We didn't have streaming type of things. And so, mom at 5 o'clock when she's ironing or cooking dinner is the news on. Right. And so, and obviously, even local news can sometimes be biased, but for the most part, it's just reporting news. These guys, their news comes from an algorithm.
Right.
It comes from something that's being controlled
that
as
has
a
an
narrative.
interest.
Either interest, whether it be monetarily, like Caden just said,
either way,
keeping your interest, or whether it does have an agenda. Let's say it has an agenda. I mean, because we know that, for example, there are certain platforms that have an agenda. During COVID, we know that Facebook and Instagram definitely filtered out anything that was anti-COVID.
A lot of cancel stuff, and so that's scary.
And so the fact that they can control that narrative, and that's where Elon Musk bought Twitter. That was the whole reason, because he wanted the filtering off of it. But the algorithms still work the way they work, like he said, where they're either pumping you anti-information to keep your attention so you're getting angry and getting passionate about thinking, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they're giving you stuff that you already believe. I kind of tend to believe, Caden, that it's maybe stuff that you don't believe, because stuff that you do believe, you're probably not going to watch as long because you already have those opinions. You already have those. There's no emotion.
That's interesting to me. I never thought of it that way, but that's awesome info. To me, it's like, okay, let's get back into thinking mode.
Yeah.
To me, let's get back into it. And I like the younger,
how do they think?
I like the younger generation because, look, they've been so exposed to it that they don't buy it.
So some don't.
Right.
And Caden gave you an example of somebody that maybe didn't buy it, but even he's had conversation. I mean, he's maturing.
Sure.
But when he was 15 or 16 and is getting introduced to this stuff, he would come to me and sometimes say some sensational stuff that he's heard on whatever podcast or whatever he's listening to, or just in school in general, the social groups.
I've got a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old right around your age.
And I would patiently just listen to him and just be like, okay, that's an interesting view. I tried as a parent not to automatically discount it, but I would always sometimes go, wow, that's a very extreme position for a 16-year-old. Where the heck is he getting his information?
My 19-year-old goes round to find something a little less abrasive, let's call it.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me, what I'm looking at right now is this interesting 18 to 30, 18 to 25, 18 to 30 demographic. And this age group is incredibly interesting to me because
they're active. I love it. I mean, they're going to vote more than we did.
Yeah.
They are the highest watchers of this show. Everything on TikTok,
there you go.
On YouTube.
We love you guys.
This age group, the 18 to 24.
Well, actually, there's a lot to learn from them. I mean, it's the coolest thing.
No, absolutely.
And the fact of the matter is the fact that they're willing to watch this.
No, they think differently. They do.
And so, and this is cool. No, I mean, we're cool guys for me being old and you being not. And but me not having a bum knee.
I'm jealous of the head of hair you got. So there you go.
That's overrated. I like the bald look. I think it's cool.
I walked into the gym the other day and there's an older bald guy that was checking in, and he turns to the lady that's checking everyone and he's like, "Did you notice the last 3 best looking guys that walked into this gym all didn't have hair?" and I'm walking by and I'm like. And he looked at me and gave me a little wink.
That's awesome.
Thanks, buddy. We got to support ourselves.
CNN, Fox, he's probably got the same view.
Yeah, maybe.
All I know is let's get our thinker's cap back on.
Sure.
Let's not be at dinner and say, do you think Trump's going to deport Democrats? He's already been a president once. He didn't go into war. He didn't fly off handles. He had some mean tweets, and he makes dumb facial expressions. I'm completely 100% on board there.
And so my sister's kind of in that demographic that you've been talking about. She's a little bit older. She's 35, 36. Maybe I'm giving her credit. Maybe she's 37. Either way,
she's
I
a
forget
very
how
young
old
lady.
I forget how old I am right now.
Lady.
So she's 5 years younger than me. So she's in her late 30s. She's my perfect example of what you're talking about because she actually will hear stuff and she doesn't pretend to be more learned than she is. She doesn't pretend to have listened to all this stuff and know all of these facts. And Paige, I've seen do the same thing. And she has zero pride about coming to me and say, give me your perception here. And sometimes she'll go to my mom. My mom even leans perhaps even more right than me because she's an older generation. They tend to be a little bit more conservative or not liberal, but great. Yeah, no, or her husband, who's even, you know, he's Trump's right-hand man kind of thing. But she likes to come to me because, and Paige and I were talking about, maybe it's the Libra that it's in me. I tend to be a middle ground guy. Yeah, Paige was going through some astrology stuff with me. So, but I like that she's in that generation where she's not afraid. I totally put you on a tangent to come to me and say, "Hey, here's what I heard," and she comes to me without a thought. She actually does a really good job. She asks the question, which I don't always do, but she asks the question without putting her own opinion, like saying, "Hey, I know this is wrong. Tell me what you think." She asks the question, and then here's my answers, and she goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought," or "Yeah, that confirms what I was thinking." Or when we were talking about this thread on democracy, and I was kind of explaining to her, you know, the capital thing and the voting thing, and then how it's extended to everything else, and where I feel like that has gotten out of hand. And she goes, "Oh, that makes total sense now. Now I can put into perspective
That makes sense
and
to
a
me
context as to why people, when I can actually agree with parts of what people say, but then chill out people on other things." And she walked away going, "Okay, thanks for that
No,
information."
and actually it's worked with me as well.
And I'm glad she trusts me, and I'm glad that I've been able to be informed to be able to answer those questions. But she's not just getting her information from social media, forming her opinion, and then having an argument with somebody.
The socialism spread needs to stop. We are American. We need to stop apologizing for being such. And we need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to thinking.
Questioning, thinking, and questioning without like
without
forming
a dagger.
Your concrete opinion. It's okay to have your morals, your standards, but it's when the walls go up automatically that you say something and your walls here, so everything that's being said back is going up and over the head.
And I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I feel like sometimes I'm good at it. Depends on the day type thing. And just to remind myself, bring the wall down. We're all American. We kind of started it that way
Neighbors,
a couple pods
we're all
ago.
whatever it is.
That's what we're all here. We all share this land. And you know what? Let's get back to taking care of it. I mean, we got to take care of America.
Especially when we're starting to get presidential assassinations and different things, because the rhetoric is so... We talked about that. Yeah. You know, I talked about, I love a lot of Trump's politics. I hate his...
facial expression,
personality of the hate. I hate the hate, and that's and luckily for him, he started to realize that maybe a little bit, and that's what, and that doesn't just, you know, that's not centralized to Trump. That's on both sides. I mean, Biden, that debate was full of just like people calling each other. It was like an elementary school verbal.
It was an elementary school debate.
I mean, it was nonsensical. Obviously, it was nonsensical on
the
competence side, but then it was all this name calling, and it was
I wanted to see. I thought Trump did far better, actually.
No, absolutely,
but
and he won that debate by
that Trump was going to say at some point, "Your mama, your mama."
Yeah, no,
or that's what she said, or something.
Yes, I mean, and that's kind of stuff he's said in the past. And so this one was a little bit different because Biden killed himself in that debate. Right. He didn't have to say a lot. I mean, that's ultimately what was his downfall.
My seventh house in the fourth moon of the orbit of the Sagittariusly charged Micron, the stars are complete crap. I cannot believe
I didn't even know what I was until Paige told me, but I think she was right. But whether that's why I'm the way I am, who knows? But
turn off the mic. That's good. Judas H. Priest. Anyway, let's carry on. I just think it's hocus pocus, and you could be jailed in Avondale.
Hey.
In Avondale, you would be jailed.
Did you know that?
Astrology?
Witchcraft?
Oh, that's called witchcraft.
Oh, astrology's witchcraft. I don't know. We might have 4 of our subscribers that we just lost. So whatever. If people want to waste their time on that crap, they can. Oh, for the love of Pete. Anyway, let's carry on. Thinking again and getting back to the hysterical part is not really something that, let's leave that to the activists, because we're always going to be with them. Activism has always been a part of our culture, and frankly,
and there's important parts of it.
Right.
I mean, we've had major awesome changes that have come from it. Yeah.
You know, Rosa Parks was an activist, and you know what? She's a hero. And so let's carry on. I mean, there's good things that come from that, but for the most part, the majorities aren't activists right now. Whatever we're watching on the social, whatever, is turning a lot of people into activists, or those walls way up.
And that's the problem, is they're active, but they don't know.
What?
Yeah. they have a theme or a goal, but have zero idea why that's their goal or zero idea what needs to be done. It's just, sensationalized. And that's...
So during law school, many years ago, before you were born, my man, and you were a very little girl. Anyway, my point is, I have no idea, but I lived in California, and California looked way different back then. And so I'm in San Diego, and I'm road biking. I don't know why that became the hobby of the 3 years, but it was. And I'm glad it was, because it gave me that, outlet every morning. And it'd just be, I'd cycle 250 miles a week.
Good for you.
And just every morning, just go crank out 30 or 40. And a fairly good size ride on a break time, like Saturday or something. So my brother-in-law goes, so when are you going to start shaving your legs? And I go, when they start paying me to do it. Until then, I'm going to ride fuzzy.
I think that's a bike team, right?
I don't know, but it could be now, I guess. I don't know, but I just
Fuzzy riders.
Right, it could be. I like it. I haven't ridden since, but the point is unless
that was the breaking point, is the shaving the legs. That's when you said no more bikes.
No, I just never shaved my legs. That's all.
Okay, all right.
That's all. I just never did because it was
just
a hobby.
That
it's
was
not. I'm not.
That was the line in the sand right there.
I guess, but I didn't think much on it.
Yeah.
My point is, Westover, I have a point here. Dang it.
I shaved my legs. That's why in high school, because when I taped my ankles, it would rip all the hair off my ankles.
I wasn't ripping on.
No, I'm not offended by it either, because I owned that I've been owning that for a long time.
Yeah, anyway. And your ankles still probably are still probably bald.
That's right. A little bit here. You go.
See, all right, let's carry on. Your ankles look like Willie Nelson.
Okay.
The point is I got nothing from it.
Yeah.
For shaving my legs, right? It didn't really make any sense for me to shave my legs. I wasn't competing. I wasn't getting paid for it. I'm not wearing somebody's jersey.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. I had to pay for my own. That was my point. Until when we look at all of these things online, we have to look at it that way. Let's look at it as information. Let's look at information as information. Let's get information from you like many of your family members are doing. Or we go to other folks that are not as like-minded as we are, and let's kind of get into a little bit of a discussion as far as, and let's find our similarities. Let's go here, let's go here, let's go here, but let's bring back that hysterics. Let's save that for those that are, frankly, always have been, like I said before, there's always been your protesters. There's always been your fringe activists.
Well, and even this video, what was the comment? It said, I need a brain so that I can stop getting my information from celebrities or something like that. And that's unfortunately something that, for whatever reason, we put them up on a pedestal. Like I don't
understand when Whoopi Goldberg became or waxed wisdom. When did she gain this wisdom?
Yeah, and I'm okay with.
Where did she get it? Where did Oprah get it?
I'm okay, and here's where I want it to be.
Did they shop for it in the New Orleans?
I'm okay with you going to sources. Like my sister comes to me, and I hope she goes to her husband and has the same conversation, and I hope she goes to her mom, and I hope she goes to her neighbor. Sure. And these conversations, don't be afraid to have them, and don't be afraid to hear different opinions. And then formulate your own. Go to the sources that even if it is a social media plus a Washington Post plus something maybe more, whatever. Get your information from multiple things and come to your own opinion. That's healthy, and we used to do those types of things. We used to be unafraid to have conversations, have debates, have healthy opinions. Now we're so afraid to approach people because if we have a different opinion, they may not talk to us again.
Remember the saying back in the day, don't never talk to anybody about religion or politics or something like that?
Yeah, I enjoy that type of stuff.
Those two topics quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not talk about two really very important life
and I guess
staples.
It takes the personality to do it. I get it. I get those topics specifically, religion, big time, politics, whatever, family, questioning how you raise kids or whatever else. We talked about the homeschool thing. These are hot button topics all of a sudden. They don't need to be. We need to tone down
my opinion
the way
on
we
homeschooling
approach it.
28 minutes ago as to today. So meaning a few years ago, as to as it stands today, I'm very Switzerland on this now. I used to be very much the social component, this, that, the other. I'm a little bit Switzerland on it now.
And maybe I need to learn a little better because I'm probably not Switzerland at that point.
The administrative state of the schooling has gotten a little bit too.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just feel like, and maybe it's me, jaded, saying, and I feel like our kids are getting influenced no matter what.
Agree.
So the best spot we can do is teach in our home, but I mean teach in our home and prepare them for the world. So I just feel like protecting them from all that information and all that rhetoric that's going out and letting them go at 18 after hiding them from all of that. I don't know if that serves them any good either. That's just my personal opinion.
I will accept your opinion as my own right up until a while back, and now I don't really have a formulated one.
Yeah.
And those that choose
maybe
to
I'm
go
not
that
as,
route, and there are all these pods that they got going on.
And maybe my kids are in pretty fairly decent situations in school, and so maybe that's where I'm at, and I'm not in the, like my nieces, where they're putting litter boxes into into bathrooms, and they have to deal with that.
Here. It's weird.
And I still feel like my nieces just need to deal with that and figure it out, and have their parents teach them proper principles, and whether it's that or whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. That's maybe another podcast topic, but
Let's do it another one. Let's do another one then. Subscribe.